We are here with the pioneers of multicultural but Latino-infused music.
I'm gonna pick you up now,
Pick me
Baco.
up. Hey, what the heck? Are you humping me? Hey, I'm never gonna wash these jeans again.
Young man, you are picking up the wrong person. That jazz should be done to me.
No, you know what it is? Listen,
I'll pick you up later.
I'm a big fan of Ozomatli. I mean, usually that would have been a problem, but with these guys, they can pick me up. It's cool. Hey, I've been listening to them, especially.
Too high.
Yeah.
No. Sorry.
No, you know what it is? I'm a fatty. I've been gaining too much weight.
Appropriate level.
So these,
Whatever. Go ahead. What's it?
no, I want to say your new album. Did you see?
Yeah.
Booty blast.
It looked like he was he humping my leg?
Como
Didn't
perrito.
you feel
It was a
that?
booty blast.
I did. You know what? I did feel
You
it.
guys are so close.
Oye,
Go ahead.
oye, was that a roll of pennies in your pocket, or are you just happy to see me?
I am too much testosterone for me right now. I'm
enjoying
I'm drowning in it.
Yeah.
This is the dirtiest episode of the Zoo that we have ever had, and it's probably my favorite episode ever. By the way, new album, non-stop, getting into the music, non-stop from Mexico to Jamaica. Tell us about the new album and why now? What was
Well,
it about?
it came out of a cool jam that we did one time live where we were playing like this reggae section, and Will Dog, our bassist, started singing the lyrics to Tragos Amargos. I don't know if you know that song.
Yes, of
Juan,
course.
yeah, right?
Tigres del Norte, right?
No, that's Ramon Ayala.
Ramon Ayala,
The one that
sorry,
you
I
just heard
apologize.
was Tigres del Norte.
Okay.
But from that point, we got this idea of like, hey, why don't we do a bunch of really dope Mexican songs, new and old, and give them the reggae treatment. So it started from that, and then what really put it up another level is that we got the production team of Sly and Robbie from Jamaica to help us out and produce the record. So that's really what made it like all of a sudden like real, almost like in a crazy way as far as the Jamaican, Mexico, LA connection.
Wow. Sweet, man. Straight.
Yeah.
And like, is there pressure to do these songs justice because they're already well-known songs, and now you're gonna do a reinterpretation of them? You don't want to screw them up.
I think that they always, every time you do a cover, you want it to be like similar enough so that people know what it is and can sing along, but you also want it to be different to make it your own. I think probably the one who had the most pressure was Asju.
Why?
You know?
Why?
Because I had to sing a Juan Gabriel song.
Which one? I love
Yeah, that's a lot of
Gabriel.
pressure.
El Noa Noa.
Ay,
you serious?
buenísima. Vamos al
Noa, Noa.
You guys are so fun.
It's a great song. R.I.P. to the maestro.
But
R.I.P.
it
to
shows his
maestro.
range, man. It shows your range because, you know, I actually interviewed you, I think it was a couple years ago. You were working with the actor from Lord of the Flies,
Oh, Balthazar Getty.
Balthazar Getty. What's the name of the group?
Abstracto.
Abstracto. Really cool, funky stuff. And now you're over here singing Juan Gabriel songs on the new Ozomatli album.
Yeah,
I
that was one of them was kind of rough. The other one,
But
well,
why
as
was
far
it
as
rough? 'Cause
pressure.
it was like a well, it's not a sentimental song, that's for sure.
You
but-
mean, well, I also sang Como la Flor, the
De
Selena song.
Selena, me encanta esa canción.
I hope you still like it. After.
I probably will. Because you guys are super talented, and I love the mix that you put into everything that you do. It's really awesome.
On this album, what you did, I think, is so cool because it includes all your old fans, but then you're bringing new people into the mix, like who maybe even don't know the songs that you're riffing off of. You know?
Yeah, I knew it. I mean, we had one of the guys from Slightly Stupid on it, Kyle.
Oh,
and,
word.
and he did La Bamba. And you know, you'd be surprised. First we did like a Maná song, Oye Mi Amor, and then we did, you know,
I know
some
them
other
all.
tunes. But as soon as we got to La Bamba, everyone just started getting naked.
What?
Really?
Like,
Oh, wow.
I mean, they all knew the song.
I would probably would too, you know.
Well, you almost did earlier in the show. I gotta be honest with you, Brunzi.
you did?
You know, one of the cool things
Invite me.
that you guys are doing with this album is that early on in your career, you guys were, you know, fusing, you know, rock and hip hop and all these things and trying to bring American Latinos back to sounds that they otherwise would say that's my parents' music, you know, and it's showcased in this album. You're kind of like, you know, you're going into pop culture and American culture and bringing that listener back to some of the heritage sounds. Is that like important to you? Do you feel like obligated at some point, since you have such a big fan base, to expose people to something they otherwise would not listen to on their own?
There's a big obligation for us as a band to make sure that whatever music we play, whatever kind of style that we play from whatever country, to do it justice. You know, you can't just try to play a style of music and pretend it sounds like it, an imitation of it. You know, you try to learn about the culture and the rules behind every kind of song. You know, like, isn't it annoying when you hear like somebody do a Latin song and it sounds really cheeseball, like they just saw an episode of, I don't know,
Modern Family.
Modern Family or something, and that's what it looks like, you know. So we try to do that. Whenever,
mariachi or something.
yeah, and it's salsa you hear, you know, and so it's like they get they get it
idea.
wrong. Yeah, they get it wrong. So we try to get it right. That's why we work with Sly and Robbie, who are two legendary guys from the Jamaican scene as far as music. And if you hear our record, not only it's not just reggae, you know, just like you can't say it's just Latin. There's so many different styles and so many different things, like the difference between a cumbia and a salsa is the same thing in reggae and Jamaican music. So you got to really be able to represent that right.
Yeah, and you know, being from Miami and coming from a Cuban family, I love that you guys, an LA group, really understand the tropical Caribbean elements, and that's one of the things that make, especially some of your earlier, you know, songs really just vibe and flow and
cool
and
fusion.
shake and the beats and stuff like that. You know, the syncopation, and it's very lively. There's a lot going on. You know, where did you guys discover those sounds?
I think we all share different kinds of, you know, collections of music, and we all get together. We were on the road for 22 years, so like when we're in the car, this is one of the cars. There's two different vans.
It's the
Okay.
We're the Mexican.
We're in the brown van.
Yeah, we're in the brown van.
Your heritage is Mexican, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we you know, the other guys that are not Mexican, they want to be in the other van so they don't get arrested. So we're in one van. We're in one van, and we hear everybody's, you know, collection of CDs. It's like, look what I'm listening to. I'm listening to this awesome guy, Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan. He's from Pakistan, and he's doing, you know, we listen to different kinds
And
of
even
music.
to the point of like where, for example, like with Cuban music, it was like, we were really super into Cuban music about like, you know, when we first started.
Right.
So we made a benefit for ourselves and we went to Cuba.
I went to Cuba last year for the first time, but you know what? Look, I'm getting cut off from commercial.
All right, later, Zay.
No. We're gonna come back and we're gonna talk about your trip to Cuba.
Oh, okay.
I want to give you more time, not less.
So, como del baile del mundo.
I'm going to the other way.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a party.
Would you guys say this is twerking music? Because Bruno here wanted to
It's
twerk
all
to it.
twerking.
It's all twerking.
You
You want to move.
Twerking started from the inside.
Yes. The only person not twerking anymore is Miley Cyrus, apparently. Now she's not twerking
yeah,
anymore.
she's over that.
All right, but I want to revisit what we were.
She's finished with that culture.
Yeah, she is.
Oh yeah.
I want to revisit, before the commercial break, you brought up Cuba. I actually went to Cuba last year for the first time
right
myself
on,
to
right
see
on.
family that I've never seen before in my life. And I kind of like when I went to Jamaica. In Cuba, same thing. It's like
yeah.
you do not hear people playing bad music. You go to whatever
Everybody's
bar.
incredible musicians
Yeah.
there.
That's
So
absolutely.
the island is overeducated. You know, everybody's an engineer,
Everyone has a
doctor.
PhD.
It's like crazy. And well, interesting. What the thing is that when we went there, we went with zero plans. We were like a whole band, and we weren't even signed yet.
When
and
did
we
you
were
go?
We went
97?
in 97.
Wow,
yeah.
so you
That was a
went.
long time ago.
when
So
it
we
was
went
raining
from
clothes.
Tijuana to Monterrey to Havana, and because you couldn't go direct at that
exactly.
time.
You drank too
and-
much on the plane, too.
Yeah, I drank too much on the plane.
No one's supposed to know.
Yeah, that's a different story.
different
But here's the thing: when we landed, we had zero plans, and in that 10-day period, we ended up getting a gig on the Malecon. We got to play on the radio, on TV. We played on all the top clubs.
Amazing.
Just out of word from like, hey, there's an American band here, and people were really hospitable,
Right.
and the love was immense. And that was one of our, I think, first instances where I think as a band, we realized that through traveling and through connecting with people from all around the world, how much we have in common with other people from
Totally.
different places.
Absolutely.
Where it's like, you know, before, even like places where it's like, especially in Cuba, where it's obviously very complicated politically,
Right.
but the average person on the street, when they knew that I was from LA, was like, here's some rum. Like,
Yeah.
here, let's hang out, let's talk.
Totally.
And that's really inspiring.
bottle, no?
you know?
And by the way, Asdrul was saying, as you're telling that story that you visited Cuba in '97 when there was still the embargo, he's like, nobody's supposed to know this, by the way. So there's an agent from the Department of the U.S. Department of Treasury.
Well, we
who's
became,
taking a service waiting for
that's
you
the
on
funny
stage.
part. That's the funny thing.
yeah.
We
No, but
became
it's all good now.
U.S. cultural ambassadors.
Can
you read that?
And when we first
He looked
landed,
like a U.S. cultural
I
ambassador.
represent you, Vato. So here's the thing. Like, remember how the whole thing, we weren't supposed to get our passports stamped, and like to connect to the
Right.
story, I was so drunk, and my shaving cream had popped in my bag. Okay. So here I am drunk, and like mad white foam all over me.
Typical American.
Yeah, and this Vato's like, oh, dude, do you need some help? I'm like, yes, I need help. And they brought me in the thing, and sure enough, they show me the passport. Bam, they stamped my passport. And at first I was like, dang, I'm doing time. But when I get back, But no one ever goes to the little stamps
No,
on
they
the page.
don't.
No, they never go to that.
Now they do.
Well, now they do, but
Now
whatever.
they're gonna, now that they're
No, but
here.
now you can go. Now you can go to Cuba.
But that was the thing, like we got to see Charanga Habanera. We got to hang out with some of the best musicians on the island, and that was kind of like the starting point to all these trips where we were going to Madagascar. We've been to Mongolia. We went to all these different, over 50-something different countries, and gotten to share culture and music with.
Awesome, man.
Now, what happens with all the songs that you guys, because you guys recorded what, like 20 songs, and then you chose out of those, how many for the album?
We demoed about 22, and we showed them to Sly and Robbie, these producers.
Okay.
And they kind of like picked and played on what they thought would kind of the best tracks that they felt would work. We got those, and we kind of mixed all that, did any kind of overdubs we needed to do and make it sound as good as we can, and that was it.
What happens to the rest of them? Do you guys just
We
keep it
have them,
tucked
we
away
have
somewhere?
them, and we've actually been
Bonus
talking about that.
tracks.
We'll probably put them out. We did a really good version. It's like a version of La Rama de Mezquita that's like, it's a Ramon Ayala song. That's more like dancehall.
Uh-huh.
Poof, poof, La Rama de Mezquita. It's fun. So there's things in there I think we'd like to get out at some point, yeah.
And the cover of the Selena song, did you guys have to, because you guys had already worked with the Quintanillas before, right?
Yeah, we made a song with them years back. We went to meet them where they're from and where they have their studios. And we did a song with them, and I'm forgetting the name, what is it?
The Cumbia Kings?
Yeah, Cumbia Kings.
Yeah.
We did a song with them. Yeah.
But do you have to seek approval from the brother or the dad? Because the dad looks like he's hardcore for the song.
I talked to Abraham.
Okay.
Yeah, and he's. I mean, when we first met him, he was awesome. And I remember with my wife, she came with me to the sessions that we did with the Cumbia Kings, and he showed us in this little vault because he has his own museum for his daughter.
Right.
Oh,
In
really?
Corpus Christi.
It's a trip when you go there.
So we walked in, we saw all the dresses and the clothes that she made, and they were all set up around the whole place. And he showed me this video that he did with Trio Los Pancho.
Okay.
Of her, like, basically like the hologram of her singing amongst them. And then at the table, there's like all these, the family members and everybody. And it was a really beautiful, intimate thing that he did just for him and the family. And you kind of learn to respect the fact that this was their daughter, and how they lost her was incredibly
She would have been
sad,
so huge these days.
Man, she would have been I know she would have been in a movie. She would have been the biggest thing.
Yeah,
she would
massive.
She probably would have been there.
And she would have done a collaboration with you guys.
Exactly.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Hey guys, get the new album, Non-Stop from Mexico to Jamaica. Ozomatli is back.